Hello and welcome to my channel. This is my first ever sewing vlog and I'm Anita and this is Sewing Yogi. So I'm a little bit nervous and I have no idea if anyone is actually going to watch this, but I've been thinking about trying to do a vlog for a while. I've been watching so many amazing vlogs for the past year or maybe year and a half now, and they are so inspirational. I love them. I watched loads and loads of them, so obviously there's lots out there already. I don't know whether we need any more, but I thought that I would do mine so that I could talk about my sewing and my love of sewing and vent all my sewing thoughts, as I don't really have anyone to talk to about sewing. My husband is a bit bored of me talking to him about sewing. He's not really interested. And of course I have friends, but none of my friends sew. So of course they listen to me talk about sewing, but they don't really know anything about it. And so they can't really understand what I'm talking about half the time. But bless them, they do listen to me babble on about it. So anyway, so today I'm going to show you my January makes, and I've made 3 items and I've altered one. So first one that I've made is the Tilly and the Buttons Cleo. Now I'm obviously a bit late to the party with this one. Loads of people have made this little pinafore dress by Tilly and the Buttons. And I've been thinking about doing it for ages, but I just never got round to doing it. And it's one of those things, there's so many things to sew, I got distracted. But finally I've got it made. And I've made this as a kind of twirl, so as my practice run. And yeah, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It was the quickest sew ever. It came together really, really quickly. No real challenges. The instructions quite easy. If anything, actually, I think they're a bit too simplified for me. I've only been sewing for coming up to 2 years, so it'll be in March, it'll be 2 years. But when I first started sewing, I threw myself right in the deep end, and I didn't start off with anything easy. I didn't start off with using cotton or doing a really basic pattern. I went straight in for a really complicated dress pattern and learnt the hard way. But since then, I've just literally loved challenging myself. So I try and sew many things that I think are terrifying to me or scare me, or I think there's no way I'm going to make this, and then make it. Maybe not amazingly well, perhaps probably showing a few issues, but generally I love it. I think it's an achievement and it gives me such a sense of pride and self-worth, helps me mentally. And yeah, so I've never really done any Tilly and the Buttons patterns before, so this is my first one ever, and I found it really easy to do. So yeah, and I made it in a red corduroy, where it's kind of like a burgundy corduroy, and I will go and put it on and show you. I should tell you what I'm wearing. This is the Nancy dress by Sew Over It, and I made this in December. And again, I love this one. This is amazing, this dress. It's not a January one, it's a December one, so can't add this one in. But it's an amazing, amazing floaty, girly dress, and I love it. I made it in viscose, and it's one of my favourites. I wear it all the time. I'm not wearing it with my cardigan today. I normally wear it with a little pink cardigan because it's actually quite mild today. The weather's quite nice. So normally I would wear it with that to keep it nice and snugly warm, but I absolutely adore this. It is so, so comfortable. It feels such a joy to wear. If I can show you it, get the chair out of the way. Can you see it? Maybe it's quite short. So there's my knees there, and I made it quite short because it is meant to be kind of like a 60s sort of flared sort of style. And I just adore it. It's so floaty, it's lovely. So if you haven't made this pattern, have a look at it because it's just amazing. I love it. So I will go and change into my Cleo dress and show you. So here it is. Here's my Cleo. Now it's coming up on camera a little bit more kind of browny coloured. It is actually a sort of burgundy colour. And so you can see I've put the standard, I don't know what these are called, brace and bar things on there with the buttons, which I actually purchased from the rag market in Birmingham last year, and I just didn't use them because I've been meaning to make this for a long time and never got around to it, so finally got to use them. It's got the front pocket on there, and I didn't put pockets on the front, but I have put the pockets onto the back, which are out the way. And again, you probably can't see the length. I've made it the mini version, so it's quite short, and I did have to shorten this a bit more because I'm only 5'2", so it was still a little bit long on me. And I made size 3, and it is quite big. I don't know whether it is meant to be this big, so I wasn't sure whether it is meant to be kind of oversized. I have heard other people say it's meant to be oversized, but I wasn't sure whether it's meant to be this oversized. Maybe you can let me know. I wasn't sure whether to try and maybe attempt the smaller size or grade between a 2 and a 3, because I can't imagine for 1 minute that I'm a size 2. No chance. Yeah, I felt like it was a little bit big, but I've just left it as it is because I thought, well, it still looks okay as it is. And then the straps were a little bit long, as you can see. I've had to, I slip stitched mine, and I didn't top stitch them right over there, so it sits right on the top of my shoulder there. So I probably will shorten those next time because they are a little bit long for me. Again, I'm only small, and I wasn't sure whether to make this smaller because it does have a tendency of just sort of creeping out and sort of bagging there, sinking out. So I don't know if that's because it's a bit too big there. So like I said, I did do just a straight 3 according to the sizes that were on the finished garment measurements. So maybe I need to do a smaller size. I don't know. Let you tell me what you think. I think it looks okay. My husband hasn't said that looks massive. My husband is very honest, and if he thinks something looks rubbish, he will tell me that it looks rubbish. So yeah, and also I noticed with the back, I might just tilt you down a little bit so you can see, it kind of has a tendency of sticking up a little bit there, so it looks slightly shorter. I don't know whether that's just this fabric or the way it's being stitched, or I don't know, but I just did it completely straight, same length all the way around, but that back bit does have a tendency of sitting up, so it could be just my bum is pushing it up, or is it because it's too big and the front is sort of pulling downwards? I don't know, because if I pull the front up, it sort of levels off at the back, so I'm not sure. I don't know. But yeah, so yeah, I love this. Anyway, I'm going to make another one. I've got some bright red corduroy. Let's tilt you up again, sorry. I've got some bright red corduroy that I'm going to try and make another one in, but I'm not sure what to do size wise yet. I saw that, can't remember the vlogger's name. I'll probably put it again along the bottom here, if I can remember. Crafts something. Sorry, I'm not very good at remembering. I'm not very good. My memory's really, really bad. But she'd made a really beautiful red corduroy version, I think maybe December, November time, I can't remember. And it was beautiful, I loved it. And I'd already got this corduroy, again, bought last year before lockdown, and I just hadn't used it or done anything with it, so I'm going to use that for another one, I think. Yes, I don't know if there's anything else I can say about this one other than I love it and I wear it all the time. I'm just wearing it with a shop bought ready to wear jumper. Next make I will go and put on for you. So this is my second make, and this is Mccalls 7892. You can see that there. And I made version B, so VB. And I've had this pattern since last year and I really loved it. I thought it was a really sweet dress. I was going to make the dress version, but I wanted to give it a go first just to see what the bodice was like, because Mccalls patterns come up really big on me and they're usually massive on the shoulders. So I always have to do a small shoulder adjustment. I haven't bothered to do one than this one because I just thought, well, this is kind of like my trial version. And I think I was feeling a little bit low. So I got this fabric, I think in the summer and lockdown. I think I might have bought it from Minerva. I can't remember. I think it might have been a Minerva actually, yeah. And I really loved it. I thought it was really summery. But then when I saw it the other week, so beginning of January, I think I just thought, you know what, I'm going to make this top out of this fabric because I need cheering up. And it is really nice. But I don't know whether it's kind of something I would wear. I'm not sure. Anyway, I really like the style of this top. It's really lovely, the fact that it has this lovely band across here in the midriff, and it's kind of like an empire line, and then it crisscrosses and it ties with this tie. So you can have obviously this little version here with the top, which is like a little peplum, or you can have the full skirt. And then the sleeves, you can have this kind of elasticated wrist, and it's like a nice flouncy sort of sleeve, or you can have a kind of open sort of what they call them, bell sleeves. I think it's a sort of bell sleeve. You can have that version there. But I opted for this one because I really love this style and I really love it. I really love it. I'm just not sure about the fabric, whether it sort of goes, whether it's something, because I don't have sort of office job or a corporate job or anywhere that I have to go generally. In my job I don't, you know, dress up or anything like that. So I think maybe it looks okay with jeans on. I've got it on with jeans on now. So if I move out the chair again and see if I can step back and show you. I'm just wearing it with black jeans, and I thought maybe it's nice for a little evening out when we can go back out. When we can go back to having meals out and to the pub. I thought maybe it would be nice for that. So size wise, I think, let me check on my notes. I did a 6 on the shoulders, like I say. These always come up really big. Mccalls patterns always come up really big on my shoulders. So I did a 6 on the shoulders, and it's still just a little bit too big. So the seam just comes off my shoulder. I think it should probably sit more higher up here. So I think it's probably a centimetre and a half, maybe even 2 centimetres off. I may alter that, or I may just leave it because I don't think it really looks that bad. I don't know. I may adjust it. The bust is in a size 8, so I just graded from a 6 to an 8 for the bust, and then for the waist I've gone right down to 12. I always find the sizing really odd in Mccalls patterns, so I don't generally go to a 12 in any other patterns, but for this one I did. So the finished garment measurements for this, let's just check for my measurements. Where are we? So yeah, for 8 it says bust 31.5. Now I'm actually a 33.5 bust, but the finished garment measurement comes up at 37.5. So I thought it was quite a lot of ease in there, and I know it's meant to be a bit flouncy, but because I'm small I can't get away with a lot of flounce around this area. Generally it just makes me look weird. So I went with an 8. And then for the waist, it says for 12, 26.5 waist, and my waist is 28 inches. So finished garment measurements for the waist. It's not on the packet, it's on the actual pattern pieces for this one. I can't remember, I think it came up dead on 28, or even maybe 28 and a half or 29. So I thought that was probably the best, safest option. And it seems to have worked fine. It fits me nicely across the waist. And this is a nice, I didn't change the length of this at all. I've changed nothing on lengthwise on the bodice, I don't think. I think I just left it as it was. Yeah, I didn't do any adjustments to that. It used about 2 meters of fabric for this top, probably because of the sleeves. Sleeves always tend to take up a bit more fabric. I thought the sleeves felt okay when I first did it, but now I'm feeling that they're slightly short. I don't think they are, but I don't know. That one feels okay. It's just this one. Anyway, yeah, really love it, really like it. I'm going to make another one, and I think I'm going to make it in a fabric I bought again quite a long time ago now. So deep sort of maroon colour, or yeah, it's deep maroon colour, and it's crepe de chine, and I thought it would look really nice in a dress. Ideally, I wanted to make this for Christmas, and it didn't get done. It didn't happen. So it may not get made again now till perhaps autumn time, but I'll see how I go. But yeah, I really like it. I really like it. It's nice and girly and feminine, and it's nice and comfortable to wear. The only issue I had, it tells you to put those little hook and eyes at 2 places, so inside here and then right at the front here. I've put them on the inside so you catch them so it doesn't come apart, and I tried to put them here, and I sewed the one in, and it's, as it pulled, I could see it from underneath, and that bugged me, so I took it out and then noticed it's kind of destroyed the fabric. And that's the only thing with viscose, it's very fragile, and as soon as you start sewing anything into it, it has a tendency of pulling, and it's kind of messed up the fabric underneath. So it's a bit annoying that, but there's nothing I can do about that now. I'm just going to leave those bits off. I don't think it's too bad. I think it's just to help it perhaps sit better, so it lines up and sits straight, so it doesn't come undone. But I'm just going to leave those ones off and just keep those underneath. I had seen that Kittenish Behaviour had made the dress version, so I watched a little bit of her sew along that she did, and she actually created an opening on the side and made her tie, I think it was made the tie longer, or did something so that you could actually thread it through like you would a normal wrap dress, which I thought was quite a good idea that I might try next time. And the reason actually bizarrely that I thought of making this was I saw another lady on Instagram, and again, I don't know what her username is. I will write it again along the bottom. But she'd made a beautiful version, a top version, and I love this lady on Instagram. She makes the most amazing clothes and she looks glorious and everything. But yeah, I shall add that to the bottom of the screen. But yeah, so this is a really lovely make. I really like it. I've just noticed I've still got threads hanging down that I haven't tidied up. I'll do that later. So yeah, I think maybe I should do this. I'm looking at it in the camera. I think maybe I should do this small shoulder adjustment, because it just feels like it's seeming like it's a little bit too long on the shoulders. So yeah, the next time I might do that. And then on to my next make. So this is my next make. I have made the Tilly and the Buttons Juno Pyjamas, and I love these. They are a little bit creased because I've just got them off the airer. Literally, I just washed them and dried them. I'm wearing them all the time. I love them so much. So yeah, you can't see the full length, unfortunately, but they've got a nice sort of long cuff and the ankles and the wrists, and I did a contrast colour to the rest, and this fabric is sort of grey with little sort of pink and little dark pink spots, and it's really, really sweet. I love it, and it's so comfortable. The fabric I bought from First for Fabrics, and I think it's a Stuff of Denmark fabric. I really love it. It's really nice and soft, that it goes out of shape really, really quickly. So if I've worn it for one evening or overnight, in the morning I've got baggy knees and they're a bit sort of baggy everywhere. It's not too bad. I mean, I don't mind because they're pyjamas at the end of the day and no one's going to see me apart from me, my husband. But I would have liked the fabric to be a little bit more sort of stretchy. It doesn't seem to have very good recovery, but it is really lovely and soft. And so I really like the fact that it's nice and soft. And the ribbing I bought from Etsy, a small company on Etsy, which I get quite a few things from. And I'll add that to the bottom in the description if you would like to know where I got this from, because it's quite reasonable price and it's a good depth. So you need a specific depth of ribbing if you're going to use this kind of thing for your Tilly and the Buttons Juno pattern. It requires nice long ribbing, where they tend to sell them in very small amounts. They're in specific sizes, like in a tube sort of shape, and the ones I bought previous have been too small. I found it really hard to find ones that are big enough, but this one came by the metre and it was, I think, about 30 centimetres in width, so it was wide enough for this. But yeah, so that's really handy. And I think I may have made a size too big, I don't know, again, I'm not sure. Made the size 3 and I didn't do any small shoulder adjustment on the top for this because I just thought I'm just going to give it a go, see what it looks like. I don't know whether it is, again, perhaps too long on there. I'm not sure if that is actually meant to sit on your shoulder seam or it is meant to sit lower. I'm not quite sure. And I made the waist perhaps a little bit big because obviously you can make this to any sort of tightness you want. And I thought, well, I'm going to leave it a little bit loose because usually when you're sitting in front of the TV and you've had your dinner and you're feeling a bit big, you don't want anything tight around your tummy. And I also suffer with stomach problems, so I have various allergies and issues with my stomach. So if I've eaten anything that I shouldn't have eaten, my stomach blows up like a huge balloon. And so I don't want anything tight around my tummy. So I left them quite baggy. But generally I feel like they could be maybe a little bit more snug, because like I said, this fabric, once I've worn it a day or two, it does tend to go like a bit baggy. So I don't know whether I could have sized down, maybe, but then I don't know, because if it was a different fabric it might fit it better. So yeah, like I say, it's a little roomy, and I didn't adjust any of the rise or the crotch depth or any of that, so I've just left it as it is and it seems fine. I did actually take up the legs by, let me again check my notes, I shortened the length of the legs by 2 centimetres, so I didn't have to shorten it very much, and considering I'm 5'2" and I have to shorten everything, that was quite good for me. 2 centimetres, it's usually like 6 metres I have to shorten everything. And the sleeves I shortened by 2.5 centimetres, so again it wasn't that much I needed to take off. So if you're tall and you have long limbs, then you may need to have to lengthen yours, because I found that they didn't need much shortening. I had to reduce the neckband as well by, I think it was 1.5 centimetres, because it's ribbing, it's a little bit more stretchy than perhaps if you were to just do it in the same fabric or in the same sort of sweatshirting fabric. This has got much more stretch, so I had to reduce that, and I probably could have reduced it a bit more, but it seemed fine. It didn't, once I pressed it, it sat flat, and so I felt like it was fine. I didn't need to take any more off. And then the cuffs I reduced by 2.5 centimetres, so the actual length of them, I found they were gaping hugely on my wrists, and I don't think I particularly got very small wrists, but then, maybe I have, I don't know, I am small, so I had to take those in by 2.5 centimetres, and it used 2 meters of fabric. So I think on the pattern it says to use slightly more than 2 meters, but again, because I know I'm small, I can use less fabric because of the fact that I'm taking off on the legs or body length or whatever. So I used just 2 meters. Yeah, and generally I enjoyed sewing it, apart from the fact that I just had a nightmare. I don't know why. I think I blame the moon generally for everything that goes wrong. I think it was the full moon. I put this in, and obviously it was too big, so I took it back out. I only basted it in anyway, and then I had to take it out. Basted it in again once I'd reduced it. Ended up just making a mess. I think I'd got the sides shoulder seam all puckered up, and I had to unpick it again and put it back in again. I think then I had another issue with it. I'd messed it up somehow the other way, and I had to unpick it again. Fortunately, the fabrics survived. It didn't mess it up too much, but I just thought this isn't going to stand it anymore if I make any more mistakes. I don't know why, because I'm not normally, I don't normally have a problem putting in neckbands, but this one drove me nuts. And then I had another issue with something else, and I can't remember what it was, but I seem to have loads of little niggles throughout the whole thing. And at one point, I think I did get a bit angry. And my husband had to come in and say, "What's the matter? You need to calm down. It's just some sewing." It's like, yeah, but it's really important when you get things wrong. It's not nice. Anyway, had a cup of tea, calmed down, started again, and it worked out fine. And then I think actually there was another problem with it. I somehow managed to get, I don't know whether it was off the overlocker or the sewing machine, I managed to get oil on one of the cuffs on the back of the leg, and I don't know how that managed to get there. I can only assume it was oil, because that's what it looked like, and it took me forever to scrub it out. Oh, I just thought this is just a joke now. But anyway, I managed to get it out. It washed out fine. But anyway, I sew most of it on the sewing machine. I don't use my overlocker to sew anything. I don't know how people sew anything on an overlocker. It's amazing how they can do that. I just find it way too scary, and I just can't get my head around why you'd want to be honest. Just sew it on the sewing machine, and then I finish the edges on the overlocker, which is fine. Works for me. If you can do that, if you could sew on your overlocker, then you're amazing. That's all I can say, because I just think the noise of it, it's very violent and scary and aggressive, and I don't know, I think I prefer the little tinkering of my sewing machine. Does me fine. So anyway, that's my third make. And so the fourth thing is an adjustment of something I made last January, and I just haven't worn. I think I wore it once, maybe for Valentine's Day last year, and I don't know, I just didn't feel there was something not quite right about it. Anyway, I worked out what it was. I've adjusted it. I'll go and put it on now and show you. So here is the dress I adjusted. So this is the Sew Over It Heidi dress, and I made this, like I said, last January, and I made it. I thought it was too big at the time. I think at the time I was smaller. I think I'd lost a lot of weight due to stress and whatever. I made a size 10, and I think I should have done an 8 because I felt it was really big. Generally around here it just was too flouncy. Like I said, I'm not very good with things being too flouncy, too sort of billowy here, because I'm small and I have a very short waist, so I don't have a very long body. I've got a very short sort of torso, so I can't have anything too voluminous there, and I think it was just too voluminous. I tried to unpick it, and I tried to gather in here more, because there's like little gathers here. You can see there's like little, only small gathers here. You get gathers all around the front here. There's gathers on the back here, and then you have a yoke here at the top, which again I think has more gathers there. So there's a lot of gathers in this pattern. I think there's gathers here in the shoulder as well. It's a very involved pattern. So I was really frustrated when I'd made it, because once you've sewn it together, you can't really unpick it. It's one of those that's really difficult because it has this panel, like similar to the Mccalls pattern. It has a band that goes around here, and I find those patterns, once you've sewn them up, you can't really unpick them. So I unpicked it to a degree, tried to pull the gathering here more, and then did the best I could, and then just sewn it back up again. But I felt like it still wasn't enough. I think I made the sleeves a little bit too short as well on this one, but you know, only a fraction. But then I've made it the length that they suggest. So I think I'd not quite midi, because I can't get away with midi length because I'm so small. It just drowns me. It doesn't work for me. I think I'd done it knee length, and I just felt it was a bit sort of dowdy in it. So I kept looking at it thinking, well, how can I change it? Shall I just give it away to charity and just forget about it and then do another one? I thought it was the fabric. I thought, oh, the fabric doesn't suit me. All these different things. Anyway, eventually I looked at it and thought, I think it's the length. I think the length, it needs to be shortened. So I've shortened it, and I've taken quite a lot off. So as you can see, it's now a little bit shorter. So there's my knee, and then I've just taken it all the way up. So it's a little bit more, I just think it looks a lot better generally. It doesn't drown me now. I just feel like it's something wearable I would wear now. I just wear it with tights and boots, and you know, maybe even heels. Not that I wear heels very often. For maybe a night out or whatever. But generally, I've been wearing it around the house because it's so comfortable. I actually find that sometimes when I sew, I prefer to be in something a little bit more glamorous. I don't know why, but I just feel like it makes you feel better, and you sew a bit better, and you know, it just helps you feel generally nicer, doesn't it? So yeah, so I've just taken it up. I think it was probably about 6 inches I took off. So there's a lot. I mean, I took off originally when I first did the pattern, probably a good another 6 inches, and then I've had to take another 6 inches off. Maybe not 6 inches, perhaps maybe just 4. But it's a really, really super long dress, this pattern. But I do want to make another one of these in a maxi version, because I can wear maxi versions. I have to either have long length to my ankles or short. I can't be in between. Long obviously elongates my body, it makes me look taller, which is good, and then shorter, it just suits me. It's just cuter, and I just think it works on me. I can't wear anything midi length, it just doesn't look right at all. So yeah, I'm going to try and make a maxi version. I have got some fabric, but I can't remember where I put it, what it looks like. But I know I have bought some for a maxi version. And that is all that I made. I'm rambling on now. If you're still with me throughout this vlog, thank you so much for watching. And if you liked my video, my vlog, then please like. And if you want to see more of my vlogs, then subscribe. That would be amazing. I do have plans for what I'm making for February. I've actually got something on the table there, the cutting table, being drawn out right now, which are the Lunar Pyjamas by Sew Over It. I bought it Christmas time, and I intended to make for Christmas, but that didn't happen. So I'm going to make the Lunar Pyjamas. That's one thing I know I'm going to make. And there's a few other things. I've already mentioned I will make the Cleo again, but I may not make it in February. I don't know. I might have time. I might not have time. But yeah, if you want to see more of me rambling on about sewing and general chit chat about sewing, that's all I talk about, sewing, then please tune in again. And if you have any comments, I'd love to hear your comments, because essentially this is me kind of having a way of talking to people about sewing. So if I can make some friends, sewing friends, that would be amazing. Obviously I have some friends, but it would be nice to have some sewing friends. So please leave me any comments and any suggestions on any of my makes, any things that I said that I may want to adjust. If you've got any advice, so with a Cleo, I don't know whether to go to a smaller size and whether I should do a shoulder adjustment on the Mccalls pattern, or shall I just leave it? Ideally, I'm just being lazy. I don't want to adjust that. I can't be bothered. But if you think it needs adjusting, then maybe please tell me. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again. Take care, love and light, namaste. As I always say at the end of my classes, I can't get out of the habit. Have a wonderful day. Thank you. Bye.